Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Pray I'm coming through loud and clear. All right. First and foremost, I'm going to face towards the east and give all praises, honor, and glory be to Yahawah, Sham, Yahawashi, Sham, Wadash. Those are the true names of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yahawah, Sham, Yahawashi, Sham, Wadash. Once again, Yahawah is the Father's true name. That means He is, He exists. Sham means in the name. Yahawashi is the name of the King. That means He saves, He delivers. Bahasham, once again, in the name. And then Rakah Kodash. Rakah equaling spirit. And Kodash equaling holy. So the Holy Spirit. Alright. This is in the Paleo Hebrew. Lashawan Kodash. Lashawan equals language or tongue. Kodash equals holy. So the holy language, the holy tongue. Okay. Also known as the Paleo Hebrew, which is the ancient Hebrew. Okay. So when you call upon your power, you want to call upon your power using those names. Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, as always. All right. Second of all, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well in sincerity, taught us the truth. And shalom to the Lord's hopeful elect, 144,000 men, as well as 1/3 men, women, and children, maintaining themselves, keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes, and the faith in Yahawashi. Right? This lesson will be entitled, The War is Won. The war is won. Now what we're fighting right now, which spiritually is a war, okay? As we know in Ephesians, the 6th chapter, it talks about that. And the book of Timothy, 2 Timothy, 2nd chapter, right? You are as a soldier for Hamashiach, okay? So you have to be aligned with his military. All right? You have to be used as a living sacrifice to forward this conflict, which is happening, you know? And it's all different conflicts, right? So going into the minor one, which is you versus you. And then I'm going to expand and go into the broader one. So the minor one is you versus you. You fighting this flesh, man. You know? You have to overcome this flesh. As Paul said, you want to put your flesh in subjection, right? Let's go to Ephesians, the 5th chapter. Okay. All right, easy, the 5th chapter or the 4th chapter. Let's see. I'll start at the 4th chapter and then I'll go into the 5th chapter. Ephesians 4 and 17. As it says, the Christians walk, which really, just really Hamashiadim, all right, the followers of Yahawashi, okay? Really a follower in this faith, in this truth. So this is the walk that you are supposed to display and show. Verse 17, Ephesians 4. This I say therefore and testify in the Lord that ye henceforth walk, not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their minds. Because this is going out to individuals that were in a similar to, they were acting like Greeks. All right, that's why the scriptures talks about neither Jew nor Greek, because we had individuals which were Israelites, of course, but they were taking on Greek customs, Greek ways, and they didn't know who they truly were, like our people today. All right, you everything under the sun except an Israelite. You're a Haitian, you're a Jamaican, you're black, you're African American, you're colored, you're Latino, you're Native American, you're Cherokee, you're whatever the white man been calling you, right? You're everything but what you truly are. So you don't want to walk as the rest of this world walks. You don't want to walk as your old man walked. So you have to reform, you have to change, you have to leave behind the ways of the world. I look at, these Jakes, they make music, and they make music with the same vibration of the world, where they'll take a worldly beat and they'll flip it around and just put Yahawah and Yahawashi on it. And that's whack. Let's be honest, man. Okay? What you're doing is you're tying into that same spirit which you was chasing while you was in the world. You're just changing the words. You see this constantly with, oh, dang, look at this butterfly. And that was your pie. Alright, Slakia. Man, but you're tying into that same spirit of the world. So let's say you take a Lil Wayne beat and you rapping on it and you talking about Yahawah, Yahawashi. It's still, it's a similar spirit. You're in that same mindset. You're not truly changed. And that's what they think. It's in that same worldly type spirit, that same style. And they still talk with the same type of vernacular. Nigga this, nigga that. They haven't changed, man. You could tell a man off of his speech, the way that he talks, what he's really feeding into his soul. Okay? So, verse 17 again. This I say therefore and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind. So you want to distance yourself from these situations which would keep you in the world. All right? It's not profitable to you. Verse 18. Having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of power through the ignorance that is in them because of the blindness of their heart. Being alienated, which means to be a stranger. You have been made a stranger by these Greek customs, by these Greek ways, by these things that this education system has taught you, that the YT man has taught you, and convince you which is correct, such as eating pork. Right? You tell Jake this, and they'll be like, well, there ain't nothing wrong with eating pork. The scripture said that all things are clean. Well, if we go into that, which we could do it real quick. Okay. This is 1 Timothy 4:1. This is a lot of, this is a place that the Christians like to go to justify them eating every type of food. Verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressively that in the latter times, these last days, some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. They failing to even understand that these are seducing spirits that's telling you to eat the pork, the lobster, the crab, the shrimp, the shellfish. Okay? And if you actually had enough diligence in yourself, you actually cared about your body, past the carnal flesh, the carnal desire, the carnal lust that you have for lobster and crab and shrimp because of the taste, which it really don't taste good, it don't smell good, right? Then you would actually care about your temple and you would actually learn what this food does to you, man. All right? It goes simply down, there go that butterfly again. It goes simply down to living a purposeful life, right? So these seducing spirits, they come to, take you away from this truth and these doctrines of devils. Verse 2, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. That's how these Christians are. Their conscience is seared. You can't change them. They're stubborn. They're stuck in their ways. They don't want to separate. So the war which they've been fighting, they've already lost because they're taking the wrong instructions on the war. The war path they talking about, it's gonna be a land battle, but it's really a sea battle. They souped up and they didn't bring no paddles. They didn't bring no scuba gear. They didn't bring none of that. So they're stuck now, and they're unprepared for the battle which we going into. They can't even recognize who the enemy is when they're taking instructions from the enemy. And that's what the black church is caught up in. All right? And anybody in any all these different false religions, man. So they're listening to these lies, these hypocrisies, these blasphemies, and they have their conscience seared with a hot iron. Verse 3. forbidding to marry, and commanding to abstain from meats. You see this constantly. Independent-minded women, right? Independent-minded, where they don't need a man, they don't want to marry anybody, they don't want to. They think they can do all bad by themselves. Tyler Perry, I just realized his net worth is 1.5 billion. You think he got there doing some good? No, he got there. The YT man allowed him to rise to that position and to get all that money because he did what he was supposed to do. He fulfilled his position in being a provocateur agent and dressing up in dresses and making that seem okay and justifying it by using the Bible, right? And it's just comedy. That's what all the comedians say. It's just comedy, you know? But then you'll have it's the dude, Debo. What's his name, man? I know his name. Zeus, right? It's like Zeus something, right? So he'll tell you he ain't wear no dresses. They try to put him in dresses, he ain't want to do it, you know? Because that's the thing in Hollywood. You got to put on a dress. Because what did it do? It demasculates the man. It puts you in a position to bring your fellow brothers and sisters down into a homosexual position, man. Right? Jake may not understand it. They may think it's funny, but really it's messing with your subconscious, your psychological aspect. This is beyond just the surface. But Jake only see the surface. Jake don't realize that your conscience, your subconscious is being attacked. And the devil, he searches out all these things, according to Psalm 64th chapter. So he knows how to attack your subconscious. He knows how to feed, and in this music, he'll put in little subconscious stuff in the background that you won't even be hearing. But it'll be, at that same time, training your subconscious to do some wicked shit. Such as, what's that song? 3-6 Mafia, right? Off the rip, you should know that's off. 3-6 Mafia, come on, man. Okay, what's that? Gotta get high, 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 till I die, whatever. And the whole song is saying Lucifer, he's my king, he's my God. If you listen to the beat, Lucifer, he's my king, he's my God. That's what it's saying. And the whole subconscious, you being attacked throughout the whole song. But Jake took that song to the top of the charts. That was #1 video for a couple weeks, right? And it's another one, just come off the top of my head, is Kanye West, Devil in a New Dress. And it's a Smokey Robinson sample. And it says, oh devil, you know you got a hold on me. Oh devil, you know you got a hold on me. So that's put, and it's attacking your subconscious the entire song, man. Right? And this is all throughout hip hop. Okay? So it's spells and enchantments that they're using to attack our people. But Jake is like surface level, and they like, man, the beat fire though. Yeah, fuck all that. The beat though. So that's stemming back to another example is the Megan Thee Stallions, the Cardi B's, the Sexy Reds. What are they pushing? The Beyoncés. They're pushing forbidden to marry. They're pushing independentness. They're pushing feminism. Right? So that's leading you individuals that's subject to this, that you're listening to this stuff and you're not thinking that has no detrimental effects to you, but it does. That's leading you to not want to deal with a man. To fuck a nigga, get a bag. I do my own thing. Right? What's that song? It's a popular one. Steal that shit. Steal that shit. That joint. Right? You know. So our people listen to bullshit, man. Hey, shalom to the brother Ahtham. Yahawah Shem Yahawashi Barak. Yahawah Shem Yahawashi Barak. To all that's on the comment board. I get these precepts. 2 Corinthians 10:4 in the NLT. We use powers, mighty weapons, not worldly weapons, to knock down the strongholds of human reasoning and to destroy false arguments. Because what? We wrestle not against the flesh, but we wrestle against the principalities, these strongholds, these foolish imaginations, things that are set up. You know what I'm saying? So it's all a spiritual warfare. So you're not gonna win this war by taking a AK-47 and shooting some. No, that's not gonna do it. Actually, that's that demon attacking and taking hold of your carnal, mind, and getting you to do something carnal. Okay? You can't beat this devil carnal because he's a carnal individual. He wants you to get carnal, and he's gonna get more carnal with you, knowing that his blessing is a carnal weapon. Verse 5. We destroy every proud obstacle that keeps people from knowing power. We capture their rebellious thoughts and teach them to obey Hamashiach. That's what we do. I believe, I just read it. I did a lesson earlier today. It was like we put those weapons in captivity, basically. All right. So we put these imaginations and things that this devil brings to us. We put those things in captivity. Right. So you have to knock down these strongholds, man. Okay. It's important, and that's a constant fight. That ain't just you knock down a stronghold today and it's not gonna build itself back up. It'll try to build itself back up. It may try to come back and jump in your life. This is why you got to consistently walk in your name. This is an ongoing battle. So ultimately leading it to being a war. A war is not just one day or weeks or months. Nah, this is a long ass war, man, that we are fighting in. Keeping it going, verse 6. And after you have become fully obedient, we will punish everyone who remains disobedient. Khan. What's that? Ezekiel 20 and 38. I'll go get that real quick. Because we're going to, Yahawashi is going to gather all the rebels. And he's going to what? He's going to purge out. This is Ezekiel 20 and 38. As a matter of fact, I'll start at 36. Actually, I don't want to get all that. I started 33. As I live, saith Yahawah power, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the countries wherein you are scattered with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. So individual that's truly studying, you're going to know that we're all scattered. We're scattered all over the planet because we're scattered into, as it says, countries. Okay? Not just in America, not just the blacks. You got some jakes out there. It's just the blacks. All the tribes is just the blacks. No, not just Judah. All right. So we are scattered in many different countries, man. Okay. So he's scattering us and he's preserving. Revelations, the 7th chapter, lets you know. All right. You got 12,000 from each tribe, and they're gonna look different. And then furthermore, Revelation 7 and 9 lets you know from all different nations, different tongues they'll be speaking. All right, they'll be looking different, tall, height, whatever, And furthermore, Matthew 24 and 31. I will send my angels to gather you from all four corners of the world, the four winds. So from every edge of this planet, man, you have Israelites scattered. All right. I hate how Jake is just the black. So you think the Most High is not unique. He's not creative. He's very creative with his people. He gives us many different gifts, many different talents. Jake is out here creating all different type of things, man. We are very diverse. Okay? So keeping it going. I'll read that again, 34. And I will bring you out from the people, the heathens, and will gather you out of the countries wherein you are scattered, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith Yahawah power. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. The new covenant, which we are not in right now, but we're moving towards that. We're in grace at this point in time. 38. And I will purge out from among you the rebels. Rebels, synonymous to the disobedient. the ones that don't want to get in order and align to this government, which is being set up. And the government is on whose shoulders? Yahawashi's shoulders. And them that transgress against me, I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And you shall know that I am Yahawah, by Hashem Yahawashi. So they won't be able to walk into the land. As Yahawah Ratazah, we be of those number, we'll be able to walk into that land. They'll have to be born under the loins of a 144,000 man or 1/3 man. You know? So it's even a privilege just to be able to, hey, I pray, you know, that we be able to make it on the first go round and we don't have to experience this purging, right? Keeping it going. Let me see what else the brother got. Yeah, Ephesians 6:10. Yep, that was on my mind too. A final word, be strong in Yahawah, by Hashem Yahawashi, and in his mighty power. Put on all of power's armor so that you will be able to stand firm against all strategies of the devil's kind, the wiles, strategies, the tactics, which goes into all the music, all the movies, all these different type of things. Now, do we have pleasures? Can we listen to this stuff? Yeah, we can. We can watch this stuff. Shoot, I'm finally went back and watching Force right now, and it's a lot of, you know, bullshit in that. But I'm watching it with a, you know, for a pleasure and entertainment, the storyline and all that. And we know not to do this dumb shit. You know, we know not to go out and try to sell drugs and stuff like that. You know? So it's like, Jake, you can't allow these wiles, these tactics, these strategies to get you to, you know, do something that you're not supposed to do. Right? And then also that's not your priority. That's not your main thing. It's like a pastime. You may play the video game. You may play Call of Duty, but you're not out here shooting people. You know? How they say video games cause people to be more violent. That's not really true. It's just the stupid people. They on some GTA shit in real life? Nah, you bugging, bro. That's a video game, man. You know, but these heathens are more subject to these demons and these spirits and the weak people of our nation, man, that don't have no strong foundation with Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. So they'll actually think that they can get away with this stuff. And that's furthermore why it has ratings on it, such as rated T for teen, M for mature. You know, a child is not supposed to be playing an extremely violent game because this child may not know wrong from right. You know, it may stumble upon a gun and just shoot somebody thinking it's just a game. And you see it all the time. You see a 5-year-old stumble upon a weapon and take their self out and take their kid out of their sibling or something like that. You know, because they don't understand the consequences of these things. So keeping it going, verse 12. For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in the dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places. These principalities, right? And let me get that in Colossians, because understanding that all this was created by who? Yahawashi, through the strength and power of Yahawah. So that's going back to the title of the lesson, is that the war is won. If all of this was created, if all of this was created by Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi, then why would you think any of this can beat him? All right, this is I started at 13. Who have delivered us from the power of darkness and have translated us into the kingdom of his dear son. So the Father has a son. All right, Yahawah is the Father, Yahawashi is the Son. 14. In whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins. We are bought with a cost, his blood. Yahawashi is that ultimate sacrifice. Where we used to sacrifice lambs and goats, that's no longer needed because the ultimate sacrifice was given by the Father. All right, he gave his own son. That's why Yahawashi is also noted as the Lamb, you know, in many, many different scriptures. All right, he's the ultimate sacrifice. There's nothing above him, and he is the reason why we even have a chance. Verse 15, who is the image, the likeness of the invisible power, the firstborn of every creature. So he's the first thing the Most High created. For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things was created by him and for him. So even Jacob's trouble, even the thrones, the throne that Trump sits on right now. And then furthermore, even the throne that the banking family sit on. Yahawashi created that. He allowed them Edomites to sit on that throne. He allowed them to have 250 years, right, to celebrate. And furthermore, going back to, when they came out of them caves, to be able to come up and take over. It was written in Revelations, the 20th chapter, man. So he put them in the bottomless pit for 1,000 years. Everything was already written in the book. So if victory is written, then the war is already won, right? We're just caught up in the story, but we gotta be thankful that we had the spirit of prophecy, which is this testimony of Yahawashi, man, which is this truth, which is this understanding. So we can look forward. How I said it at last camp, we are story walkers, all right, being prophets. We can look back in the past and go into this and explain this, and we can look at the present and tell you what's going on right now, and then we can also tell you what's gonna happen. Story walking, going from one part of the story to another part and explaining it. So we have the privilege of doing that. Most of these people don't understand what's happening, what's going on. So therefore, they get caught up in the battle, failing to understand that this whole war is already won. This devil has to go down. But the devil, in the midst of this war, wants to mess with your emotions through these wiles and these strategies and these tactics that he sets up to put you in a carnal mind to get you thinking about the moment. We ain't sitting here thinking about the moment of, hey, bills piling up, all this bullshit, ailments. I woke up this morning, my foot was hurting, man. Like, shit, that's why I'm out here walking on the ground. Shoot, it is what it is. So, at the end of the day, it is what it is. K Sarah, Sarah. All right, what will be, will be. So ultimately, we revert back to prophecy, and we know that prophecy has to pass. If the scriptures say that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, in 2 Ezra 6 and 9, then that's what's got to happen. The Most High is not a liar. He's not a man where he shall lie. So what he said is going to happen is going to happen. You can bet all your money on that. You can bet everything that you have, right? Everything that you have, man. So, hey, in closing, let me see. I'm trying to think where I was at before I started reading off the comment board. We pretty much hit the point. Oh, let's go back to 1 Timothy. Yeah, I know what I was talking about. All right, this is 1 Timothy 4, and we was in verse 3. So individuals would be what? Forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats. So as I was talking about the Beyoncés, the Megan Thee Stallions, and all of this stuff, all these wiles and strategies of the devil is tying into pushing that feminism, independent spirit, right? It's messing with the subconscious of women, okay? Where, man, back in the 40s, the 50s, women wanted to be what? Housewives. That's a straight position. You stand at home, all you gotta do is cook, clean, take care of the kids, right? That's all you gotta do. You don't have to go out in the world and deal with everything that's of the world. Deal with a boss, deal with co-workers, deal with working, getting up in the morning early and going. You don't have to deal with none of that. You're a housewife. Why would you not want that position? Okay, that's crazy, man. So now these women have lied to you and pushed these positions when, if you look at the Cardis and the Megans and the Beyoncés, all of them have men. They're either in a relationship or they're married, but they're pushing out to you to be single. Well, how does that make sense? All right, somebody's being scammed, man. Okay? And then furthermore, to abstain from meats. Veganism. That's not a good diet. All right? That's not a good diet for you. It's the Most High allowed us to eat meat, and he ordained for what meats we could eat in Leviticus the 11th chapter. He told us what we could eat and what was good for us, what was clean and what was unclean. And he knows better than man. He knows better than whoever created the vegetarian or vegan diet. Right? Now, if you want to abstain from meats for a time, then yeah, do your thing. I did it before, and it's actually good for you. It help you lose weight, and you'll feel lighter, and you'll feel clean, and you'll get up earlier. Like, you won't have that sluggish, in the morning where you laying in the bed or whatever. You just get up automatically, like, because meat, as it says in Sirach, the 37th chapter, too much meat will cause sickness, loosely quoting. So you do these things in a balance. You don't just eat meat every single day, but just completely abstaining from meat. How you gonna keep the Passover, right? Meat is not the enemy here. The enemy is Esau Edom creating these damn 3D printed meats, these cloning meats, this all this fake meat that he's putting out and putting on the shelves, and then giving you all this human meat that you do not supposed to ingest, man. Okay? Which power have created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. So the Most High created certain meats to be created, to be received with thanksgiving. For every creature of power is good, and nothing to be refused if it be received with thanksgiving, for it is sanctified by the word of power and prayer. So that's where the Christians will say, you just got to pray over it. No. What does it say? The creatures that he created to be received. A pig was not created to be received into your body. That's not the function of a pig. That's not the function of shrimp. That's not the function of calamari. That's not the function of octopus. That's not the function of lobster and crab. So by you going and messing with the circle of life, all right, on my Lion King, by you messing with the circle of life, you are damaging the ecosystem, man, of this planet. Lobsters, crabs, shrimps, things that they supposed to clean the oceans. All right, the pig is supposed to go forth and eat up the slop and the waste and stuff. You're affecting their job that the Most High has created, and that's furthermore showing you that this Edomite, he doesn't know how the earth works, or he does. Going back to Psalm 64th chapter, he has searched out things with a diligent search. He searched out iniquity with a diligent search. So he knows how things work, and he goes against the grain to destroy the nations. That's why Revelations 18th chapter says that the nations shall be angry with him. All right? They're tired of his bullshit because of everything that he's doing, the way that he runs the earth, because he does run the earth. Job 9:24. So as the king is, so is the officers. As this ruler is, so is everybody else. Some people are falling into it, as it says right here, to these seducing spirits and these doctrines of devils that this devil is pushing out upon the planet, where they would actually, what's this month? Oh, now we in July now, where it was just June, and that was the alphabet month, where these individuals is proudly walking around and pushing their vibration upon people, right? Thinking that that's okay, because this devil has allowed that, vibration to go forth like it's okay. When under the correct rule of a righteous man, you motherfuckers gonna die. At the end of the day, man. Yahawashi ain't standing that bullshit. It won't be no moles in the kingdom, man. Okay? Moism is gonna be done away with completely. Alright? And we can't wait. Alright, man. I remember as kids, bro, in the country, we used to be able to play outside, street lights come on, all of that. You go to sleep, you leave the door unlocked. You ain't have to worry about nothing. Now, it's like, it's hey, the love of many shall wax cold. Matthew 24th chapter, like, it is what it is. Or Ecclesiastes the 12th chapter, these are the days of evil that we are in now, right? But in closing, once again, I'm closing for real. The war is won. So keep that in mind, that we have the victory. Last precept, Revelations 12 and let me see, 11. Actually, I started 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. Right? And that's what this individual is doing. Where we are being slandered, we have a bad name, and he's putting out provocateur agents, individuals that'll take a bag and go forth and teach bullshit to make us look bad. The true men of Yahawah, Yahawashi. But the elect, you're going to see past all that. You're going to see past the false prophets and the false Hamashiachs. Verse 11. And they overcame him, we overcame Esau, Edom, by the blood of Yahawashi, the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down to you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So what we're watching is that final rush on the battlefield. But we know it's like Spartacus, although they lost. But on Spartacus, towards the end, and they could have won that shit. When Spartacus was fighting the Romans, they had all them rush, and then they had like a trap set in the middle of both armies, and the Romans didn't even see it, and they ran right into it. You know? So when somebody's coming in great wrath, they're coming in great haste, they're not thinking clearly. Right? They're acting strictly off of emotions and anger. What's that? Isaiah 14. He who ruled the nations in anger, man. A continual stroke. He rules in anger, man. Off of emotions, he's a crybaby. So he's going forth mad off of what happened to him, that blessing that he can't get. You know, and that's what he's doing. So I love to see him come in great wrath. Like a kung fu master or something. When you fighting and you see these individuals, they just come in like a nigga fight, you know. Yeah. But I just got to dodge and boom, take them out. You know? We're strategic. This is warfare. So you allow your enemy's aggression to be your advantage. Right? So hey, that's all I got, man. The war is already won. Hold on. Keep that. We saved by the Lamb. It's already written. Faith over fear. Don't complain. Whatever comes, the challenges and all of that's coming, because it's going to get worse. It's going to intensify. But we continue to call upon Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi and to make it up out of here, man. So hey, with that being said, facing the east once again, giving all praise, honor, and glory be to Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone. Shalom to the Lord's hopeful elect. Ate the water for the precepts. As always, Kwam Yasha'Allah, and abide Babar. Keep the faith. Shalom.